All right, let's see. There we go. Mr. Leopard, welcome to our
Yep.
Zoom recording. Today is May 5th. Right now it is 12:45. We're kind of waiting for some of you to join, but unfortunately no one joined. It's making us sad. So, but it's okay. We got Miss Morgan Simmons. Hey, Miss Morgan.
Hi guys.
All right, so we got Miss
Hello.
Morgan here, we got Mr. Leopard, and me. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about some of the things that are coming up. This biggest thing is your final exam. So a lot of you have been doing the work, and I really appreciate your hard work. And I know it's hard to do digital learning, to be motivated to do digital learning, but keep at it. You only have this week, next week, and a few extra days after that, and then we're done. Okay, so first thing I want to talk to you about is iPhones. Those of you with an iPhone, let me see if I have mine right here. Oh, yep, here it is. Okay, and yes, no matter how much I bash on iPhones, my students know very well I have one right here. Okay, so yes, I use an iPhone
That's
as well.
called hypocrisy.
I don't know what you're talking about, Mr. Leopard, but yeah. So this is for educational purposes. If you are using an iPhone, please make sure you download Google Chrome. If you try to use the internet browser on your iPhone, it will not work on your assessments. Okay, whoops, wrong button. So just go to the App Store, download Chrome. I think I typed it in wrong. Let's go this way. Okay, download Google Chrome. If you're on your phone, go to the App Store. If you have a MacBook, the Mac browser is Safari. Safari does not work on final exam, so you have to go here. So go to chrome.google.com or google.com/Chrome, download Chrome, and then follow the instructions to install. Okay? Now, throughout the week, this week, we're going to be reviewing for the final exam. The final exam is going to cover 4 units, and I'm going to do a different unit each day. So if you were working on the DLD assignments yesterday, that was all of Unit 6, and we put an assignment online with a video. So this is the best place to go for all your assignments, okay? So we're gonna click on DLD 31 to talk about yesterday. And here you have your video, and the videos are always gonna be on YouTube, okay? Just because they're so big and I can actually divide them up. So we're gonna click on that first. So we have our video, but what I want you to pay attention to is down here. In the description, I went ahead and divided up each the video into questions. So if you were struggling on the assignment today, and let's say question number 3, just come down here, hit the time stat, and it'll take you straight to question 3. And I think, oh, sorry, that was question 2.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so question 3, 4 minutes and 21. Okay, and then we talk about that, and then so on and so forth. Okay. So once you have watched that video, this is a printable version of your study guide for yesterday. Okay, if you want to use that. And then this is where you're going to receive your credit. Now, this also counts as mastery learning. So anything you do here or this week, I will use that to replace old grades from when we were in school, especially if you didn't do well on certain quizzes, and I'll also boost your common assessment. Okay, so I'm going to click on that. Okay, I'm going to hit start quiz. Now, you have as many tries as you want. If you notice, I'm actually pretending to be Isaac, just so I have access to the student version. You hit start quiz, and all the questions are exactly the same as the video. Okay, we use the same exact questions. So if you're stuck on this question, again, go back and watch that video, and it should be able to help you answer these questions. Okay, now this is going to be the same format every day this week. So today is DLD 32. You click on the big 32. You have your YouTube video. Okay, for unit 7, same thing down here, right? All the timestamps, and then your practice. Okay. So once you complete that, you are done for your digital learning. For math, if you are done with all your other assignments, please actually take this time to go back and make sure you finished last week's assignments and the week before. Okay, because we don't want you to keep getting NTIs this late into the semester, very close to the end of the year. Okay, so that's everything for your assignments actually, but let's talk about our final exam. So I told you earlier to use Chrome to access your final exam, and it's going to be this assessment tab that you usually use in school. Okay, so we should all be familiar. If you're not, on this e-class page, you click on this assessment button. Okay, and it's going to take you to the assessment page. And I'm trying not to show mine because it gives scores and that's the teacher version. But if you click on this, it'll ask you to type in a code. And I'll give you that code next week when it's time for your final. Okay, so here are the topics that are going to be on it. Let me see if I can pull up a. Is it letting me? Ah, there we go. All right, so here are your final exam topics. So the 4 units are Unit 6, which is talking about relations and functions. Unit 7, which is talking about linear functions. And that's today's digital learning assignment. And my pen disappeared. Don't you love technology? Even on digital technology days, it always goes wrong. I wish we were back on paper pencil. All right, let's see if I get there. We'll put that out here. We'll put our lovely faces down here. Okay, here we go. All right, so back to this linear functions. And that was the y equals mx plus b, right? The unit we talked about this y equals mx plus b a lot, your straight lines. Okay, unit 8 is was the data and statistics. More importantly, or more specifically, that was the linear models. Okay, and what that means is the you're using real life data, okay, but we're talking about like line of best fit, scatter plots, two-way tables, where all of the data points are kind of in a straight line. Okay, that was the positive correlation, no correlation. I think what do you think, Mr. Leopard? Your kids did pretty well on that stuff, right? The positive,
yeah, I think
negative.
that was well ingrained.
Yeah. So hopefully you didn't forget that. If you go out and see, you could be talking about that now. I mean, it's all over the news too. Linear, these statistic models.
That's very true.
That's
very
all
topical.
they're talking about, especially to get out of this quarantine, right? Unit 9 is the last unit, and that's the system of equations. And this is the unit that we finished right before we went into digital learning. That's the one with the 2 lines that cross, and your answer is where they meet.
Unless there is no solution.
Right, where they do not touch. Okay, so we'll briefly go over all 4 of these topics, kind of just give you the main ideas of each topic and what to expect. Okay, now one of the weeks for digital learning, we did unit 10. Now unit 10 is not going to be on the final exam. That was just more for us to kind of just show you what you're going to expect next year. Okay, and I know it was hard, but that was kind of the point. Is just to show you, I mean, even if it was hard, and even if you don't get it right today or this year, you're going to see it again next year, right? So you kind of have an idea, and when your teacher next year at Berkmar show you the topics, you'd be like, oh yeah, I saw that on digital learning, even if you don't remember all of it. Okay, so these are your 4 main topics for your final exam. All right, so let's talk about Unit 6. Okay, remember, so it's pretty much talking about relations, and relations are any point. Okay, anything with an x and a y. Okay, a function is a relation where x does not repeat. And you know, you guys have been pretty good about this. A lot of you have been remembering, and just from what I've seen on the digital learning, you've been doing really well with it. Okay, rate of change, an initial value. Okay.
What would I do if I'm given a relation as a graph and I don't necessarily know where my x's are? How do I know if it's a function?
Ooh, so you're talking about something like if I have this graph here, and let's say I were to draw this shape of this graph right here, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of remember that it was some kind of test, right?
Yeah.
We had to draw these lines straight down and see how many times each of these lines cross the graph.
You just made a money sign.
I did. Oh well. Okay, well, let's see. So here's one. It crosses that line 1 time, crosses this line 3 times, crosses this line 3 times, and this line once. Okay, this is called the vertical line test. When you have a vertical line that crosses a graph more than 1 time, like these 3 green dots right here and these 3 green dots here, it is not a function. Okay, this does not make it a function. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna shrink that down just a little bit, make some space. Put that over here. All right. Let's see. Rate of change and initial value. This is where we kind of started with the y equals mx plus b. Okay, this is my favorite word in 8th grade math. Per. Okay, every time I think about this word, I think rate of change, and I love screaming it at you guys, and I love scaring you guys. And those of you who always fall asleep while we teach, it's always fun to see you wake up. Okay, per. You see that word per? The number in front of it is the rate of change. Initial value is some of those words like start, begin, deposit, okay, or had. Like, for example, Mr. Kim had $5. He deposits or he earns $3 per day. Okay. Now I used both of these words, but here's another example with the word deposit. Okay. Mr. Leopard deposited $10 at the beginning of the year. Okay. See, now that word deposit is your initial value. Okay. His money or his money grew $10 per month, right? There's that word per, and that's your rate of change. So you just have to read the question and figure out what words are your initial value, what word is your rate of change. So then that talks about y equals blank x plus blank. All right, so that's unit 6. Let's do unit 7. Okay. Unit 7 is your y equals mx plus b. Okay, I'm going to write that in the middle. Actually, I'll keep it here. There's other things I want to write. M is your slope. B is the y-intercept. Okay, remember B is a point 0, comma y. There was 0, comma a number, and that y number is B. Right? Slope is rise over run. Okay? And let's kind of talk about that idea of slope. My pen's stuck. There we go. Rise over run, which is the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so if you have 2 points, let's say 1, 5 and 3, 2. Okay, remember what we did in class all those months ago that I miss very much spending time with you guys. We labeled our points x, y, x, y. First point was 1, second point was 2. And then you just plug that in. Okay, so 2 minus 5 over 3 minus 1. 2 minus 5 is negative 3. 3 minus 1 is 2. Okay, cannot simplify that fraction, so that's my slope. Okay, now that slope, okay, whoops. So this is talking about slope, and then the other part of Unit 7 is graphing that line. Okay, so I have an x and y axis, horribly drawn, but it's okay. Right, our y-intercept is on the y-axis. Okay, we'll say that's negative 3. I'm making up a number. And then I found another good, or I followed my slope. Okay, so let's say my slope was 2 over 3. Okay, so 2 means I go up. This positive 3 on the bottom is my run, so I go to the right. So then we counted. We went up 1, 2. Then we went right, 1, 2, 3. Plotted your point. Then we connected the dots. Oh, that is way off. How do I forgot I have this. Straight line. Let's make that red. Match the colors. Yay. Okay, and there's my linear function. Okay. Now, on your final, we're not going to ask you to graph it. Okay, we're going to ask you to find the equation of this graph. So you're going to have to be able to figure out what your y-intercept is, find that other good point, and then count your rise over run. Now, in the video, on the YouTube video, I show you how to do that. So please make sure you are watching. Okay, you go and watch that video so you know how to do everything that I'm just showing you here. Okay, and I believe that covers all of Unit 7. Mr. Leopard, am I missing anything?
That's all I can think of. Okay. I don't remember there anything more complicated than that on the test. So
yeah, it's pretty. I think it's pretty simple, straightforward. Okay, then let's talk about Unit 8. Ooh, it's too bright. Unit 8 is when we started talking about scatter plots. Right, and a scatter plot was that graph where all the dots are kind of either lined up or they're just points on a graph. And this represents data, right? X-axis, Y-axis. So then we started talking about this word association. Okay, also known as correlation. So then in class, we drew these lines, or sorry, we drew these scatter plots. Right, and I kind of let you guys have fun with it. Okay, when we did it, this was a positive correlation, right? Because our line of best fit is going up, or sorry, the points are going in an upwards direction, right? It's going in a positive direction. So my line of best fit that I just drew here is a positive sloping line. Then we do the same thing for this one, but this time we're going to go the other direction. Okay, and that is a negative association or a negative correlation. Okay, line of best fit, right? And you notice that points are going down this way, right? They start from the top left and they go straight down. This is negative. And then my last one we talked about, which was the really fun one, where we just kind of went around and did this, right? This is no correlation or no association, right? It's random. Now, fun fact, your line of best fit for no correlation is straight line. Okay. Ooh, whoops. All right, so we did that. Then we also started talking about taking this scatter plot. Let me go back one. That didn't work. Yeah, I'll just try another one. Is having a set of data, figuring out what your line of best fit is, right? Okay. A line of best fit is going through as many of those points as possible, or is as close to as many of those points as possible. Then you have to actually figure out what the equation was. Okay, you are going to have to do that on the final. It is in y equals mx plus b, and your clue is to look for your y-intercept. Okay, you're going to have a grid, right? There will be a grid on the test or on the question. Anyway, there will be a grid on the question where it graphs it for you, and you have to figure out the y-intercept and the other point, find the slope. What else was there, Mr. Leopard?
Two-way graph.
Two-way tables. Okay, so I'm just going to label this as A and B, 1 and 2, right? And these are actual, words. These are actual scenarios like 7th grade, or let's say 8th grade and boys, 7th grade and girls, and you have to figure out how many boys are in 8th grade, girls are in 8th grade, how many boys are in 7th, girls are in 7th, but it's an entire word problem, okay? So for this, if I said this was 10, this is 8, and there were 20 total here, 12 total here, okay, you were supposed to be able to find the missing pieces, right? 10 plus something equals 20. Well, I know that that's going to be 10. Something plus 8 equals 12. Well, that's 4. I can do 12 minus 8 to find the 4. Do 20 minus 10 to find this 10. Find the total. You add up. 10 plus 4, 14. 10 plus 8, 18. Then to find your big total, you add up the row or the column. 14 plus 18 is 32. 20 plus 12 is also 32, so you know you did that right. And that's a two-way table. Was that it? I'm thinking that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now for the grand finale.
All right. So before we go on to the last unit, if you have any questions, do let us know. Okay, you can email us. You can give me a call. A lot of you have my phone numbers now because I had to call home since some of you didn't take the DLD test. Okay. All right. Last unit. System of equations. Okay. So it's just the best way to explain it is graph a line twice and find the point of intersection. And that's the whole unit, really, right? So we have a few types of solutions. We have what I showed you earlier at the beginning. I don't know why I just hand drew them when I knew I could just draw lines.
Well, you could have just left them.
I know, but I realized they look so bad. I can't draw straight lines on this tablet. Like this thing is so hard to use. I like my other tablet better. All right.
Yeah. See?
Doesn't that look better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very professional.
Hand drawing can't do that without a ruler on this tablet. All right. So we want to find the point of intersection. So this is one solution.
And what does that solution look like?
It's on a graph. It's on an XY axis or XY plane.
It's just one number, right? Just single number.
No, it can't just be one number.
Oh,
it has
okay.
to be a coordinate,
Ah.
right? This is a point, so it has to be an XY coordinate. Okay. Now, two lines that are parallel, right? We call these parallel lines because they have the same slope. This is no solution. All right, and then the last one here, you see the bluish line and then the red line. They are on top of each other, meaning they are the same exact line. We call that infinitely many solutions. Okay, so that's pretty much the basics of Unit 9. All we're gonna do is ask you for this unit is pretty much figure out where the intersection points are. Okay, so Mr. Leopard, you've been teaching for a while. On common assessments, when you see system of equation questions, you see these three as answer choices: one solution, no solution, infinitely many. What is not a possible answer that you've commonly seen before? You know?
Not a possible answer.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm looking at these as answer choices?
Yeah. So there's always four choices, and one of them just never makes sense.
I don't know, maybe a curved line or something. I don't know.
Yeah, right. And pretty much those curved, like you'll never see a curved line in a system of equation, right?
Parabola or something.
Mm-hmm. So if you ever see anything like that, then you got to just think, it's probably not a system of equations question, at least what we're talking about here. But there's one type of answer choice that I want you to avoid at all times. Sorry, Mr. Leopard, for putting you on the spot there. Okay, two solutions. Okay, this has come up on so many tests. This is actually on your final exam. Okay, this is one of your choices. if you see two solutions, please cross it out. Okay, I've never told you two solutions, right? Whenever we did the system of equations, I never said there's two solutions. There's only one. Two solutions is something completely different that you're going to learn next year. But here, one solution, no solution, or infinitely many solutions are your only possible answers. Okay, we put two solutions because we needed a fourth answer choice and we couldn't think of anything else. Okay, so please, 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 please be careful when you see two solutions. Okay. So, Mr. Leopard, I think that covers it. What do you think?
I think it more than covers it.
All right. Well then, I guess that's it for this session. If you have any questions, again, like I said, please let us know. Definitely watch those YouTube videos. Those will help you a lot. DLD 31 and 32. Shout out to Isaac for letting me use your e-class. Even though you kind of didn't have a choice, because honestly, I can just pick anybody, but I decided to pick Isaac. YouTube videos here, and yeah, make sure you download Chrome if you're using an iPhone. Other than that, because Mr. Leopard and I are the yearbook people, kind of want to put in a little plug. I was told by Miss Johnson today at the stop by the school, and your parents should have gotten a newsletter, and it still says you can purchase a yearbook. So if you want a yearbook, please buy it.
Yep.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
We'll be giving them out either by mail or over the summer when we get the books. Okay.